They call you back.
You know, I thought about it and I said, man, he probably got the red light on. You know what I'm saying?
So, no, I swear to God, I'm up. I didn't even. And when I saw the call later on, I'm like, did he call me this early? No, right. I would have gotten that call. Yeah. But then you didn't text me, so I said, okay, probably butt down.
No, I didn't butt down. I should have texted. I should have followed up with a text.
Yeah, you should have followed up. I would have been happy to talk to you. I was going to call you too, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to talk to him in the show. And if it wasn't a butt dial, he'll text me.
Yeah.
If they call him back and pick up the phone.
I just been trying, like, different combinations of stuff. I added a couple of pieces, like that I can make some noise with, and
right,
just add a little bit more of an experience to it, man. But
oh, really?
Yeah, like
you've been posting a lot. That's great, man.
Yeah, I've been working on like using some of the other tools to do some of the promotion work. Like if it's your own stuff, then you gotta promote it.
Yeah. And you know what I'm going to tell you? Why did you not like my comment?
Which one?
The one that said, the one for the texting that was going on with the girl offering the guy pussy and he didn't take it.
I didn't go back in. You know what? That's
a valid point what I wrote.
Hey,
another person said it. And I was like, hey, wait a minute here.
Hey, just so you know, we live. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I haven't hit the intro and stuff yet. It's cool.
I didn't know we were live. You got to tell me these things. I'm here cutting up the paper to make the noise.
It's the same time every week. And then you're telling me, you know what I'm saying, you didn't know. That's kind of crazy.
No, because I'm not paying attention. I'm looking down at this thing, cutting coupons.
Say that part again. You're not paying attention. See, you've been coming here for 3 years.
I know, right?
So at least in this space, I can't give you that one right there, man. I can't let you make it. But but today the show is going to be about selling your soul and what does it look like. We tried to have this conversation last week, but I had a lot of inclement weather going on over here. There's a lot of tornadoes and everything, man. Really bad.
You guys get tornadoes there?
Yeah, man. Like, and I've been living here.
Like full-blown tornadoes that come down and wreck your house?
Yeah. Like,
what the hell would I move there for then? Hey, I don't want to rebuild.
Hey, well, look, you live in California, okay? Rebuilding is always part of why you're living out there. You know what I'm saying?
Is there tornado insurance out there?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The insurance take care of it. But, like, I've been living down here almost 20 years, and that's the first time I've seen that. So,
okay.
So you see what I'm saying? It's not like a
regular thing.
Yeah, it's not like hurricanes are to the Gulf states. Like it was. We always knew it could happen, but actually seeing it and seeing the impacts of it, we don't get those that often.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been stepping up my gym stuff, you know what I'm saying, and getting back, to some of the heavy.
You're losing weight for a while there.
Yeah, man. Like I've been just trying to figure out which direction I wanted to go in, and
just going the healthy route. That's all you could just go the healthy route. Why does it have to be a certain weight? If you want to be a healthy, you know what you're eating, you know what you're putting in your mouth. Just go a healthy weight, man.
And that's what I was talking about. Like, how like, what did I want to go back and do? Do I want to focus on just cardio? Do I want to just focus on?
I would. You got some serious size, bro.
And then I just tried a little bit. I decided to try all of it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but you got some serious size on you. So all you need to do is focus on cardio and diet. That's all. And then do a little bit of weight so the skin don't get loose. That's all.
Yeah,
that's all. You know what I mean? That's all. Because you got good size. You're good size, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just doing like maintenance stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's all I would do if I were you.
I just do maintenance.
I would just do that. I would just do the cardio and then the diet, and then I'll do weights just to maintain. I wouldn't do weights to get big or small, just to maintain and let the rest. You look good like that because you already got a good size. You don't have to get any bigger.
No, I don't want.
You know what I mean?
I'm fine on size.
Exactly. Man, that's what I would say.
Let me go ahead and hit the intro, man. You know what I'm saying? It's already that time.
Okay.
Welcome to the Co-Talk Solutions Only Evening Show. I'm your host, Victor Vincent, and to my right, your left possibly, the artists that really don't need an introduction at this stage right now.
Oh man, look at that! I feel like I'm part of the family.
Cut it out, man. You've been coming here for
Get
3
me out
years.
teary-eyed over here.
Why are you clipping coupons? What are you doing?
Hey! That's private matter over here. These ones are good, man.
Man,
Yeah.
you know, we've been trying to have this conversation, like I said before we actually got started. That what does selling your soul look like? And that was at the end of one of our backstage, conversations after the primary show has gone off. And the conversation was going to be very interesting. We probably were going to wind up talking for another hour or so if we had really brought the topic up, because selling your soul is not, by just what I remember the conversation, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? It's about the healthy perspective and the unhealthy perspective of it, because
Right.
a lot of people have very, very broad definitions for what's generally implied to be good or bad. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing to do charity. It's a bad thing to, I don't know, do something detrimental, to your community. It's nothing good about being corrupt. You're not gonna get the best situations out of being corrupt.
No.
So there are alternative universes for the same, thinking. Yeah, and when we brought up, like what does selling your soul look like, Antoine was the first one to say, I sell my soul. And I was like, I'm interested in hearing why. So here we are, finally getting a chance to talk about it. And we'll weigh out some opinions. And I think it should be an interesting conversation.
Yeah. So when I said that, I don't mean it from a religious point of view, because that would be stupid. And anybody that thinks that is an idiot. That's not what I'm saying, because I believe in God just like the next person. I have my own relationship with him, unlike what people go crazy about. I have my own relationship with him, and I don't let people determine what my relationship should be. So when I say selling my soul, I mean I make the necessary sacrifice to get ahead. That's what I mean when I say I sell my soul. I make the necessary sacrifice to get ahead, meaning I don't care what other people think. I don't do, as long as it doesn't go against God or harm anybody in any way, shape, or form. I make the decision to do it. So I put me first, and I sell my soul in a sense that I will. Everybody tells a lie.
Uh-oh.
So that being said, everybody tells a lie. I tell a lie in order to do what I need to do. And if the lie doesn't hurt nobody in the process, then what you don't know will never hurt you anyways.
Well,
That's how I see it.
maybe that was all part of the whole journey. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
what are you
yeah.
trying to learn?
I am not a fan of struggle love, or you ask any successful man, they'll tell you that behind every successful man, there is a story, and the story of what it took for him to get where he's going, especially when they come from the depths of poverty, and the
Right.
story is usually the same. They made a sacrifice. They did what they had to do. They ate what they had to eat in order to wake up the next day and do it again. So, and I have so much respect for that struggle. It's unbelievable, and I'm still struggling. I still make those decisions because I'm not where I want to be in life first. And when people say, it's amazing how many people want to be that leader, that provider. It's like everybody wants to be black, but nobody wants to color. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't nobody want what come with it,
Nobody come with it.
Yeah. Nah.
That's how I look at it. That's my kind of like short definition of it. Of course, we'll get deeper, but
Yeah,
on a surface level, that's how I do it.
because that's interesting, because you would think that certain things have like a level of universal accountability, and everybody has when you think that everybody has the same understanding of the topic, then that's when you get a lot of unhealthy competition, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Trying to reframe your your recipe from getting forgetting how getting what you got out of life,
Yeah.
at that
Mhm.
point.
Well,
And
you have to understand, people will do. People, there's a lot of haters out there. People don't want to see you. Not everyone wants to see you succeed. Some of them
right,
want to be there to tell you, "Don't worry, you'll be okay, man. I got you. You know I'm here for you." Some of them want to be able to tell you that. Meanwhile, they're happy, because you're not outdoing them.
yeah, yeah, for real.
And that's unfortunate and sad.
Yeah,
But that's a real insecurity right there. Um, in the black community, I find is that they don't want you to succeed, and they don't help their own enough. They talk a big game, and the only time support comes out is when somebody gets shot. Then everybody's rallying together for some reason. But I don't think, like, they're always looking to hustle that deal down, and yeah. So that's how I see it.
yeah. I
There's
think
more to it, but
yeah, like I think the conversation is like I started looking at like certain words and not even words, arguments that people have. Like I don't know if you saw in the Facebook group, which you guys can locate right now as a public group, and you can go find it, the Accountable Masculinity Men Mentoring Men group, Facebook group, and we
Mhm.
have some regular good topics and questions in there, you know what I'm saying, and increase, you know what I'm saying, the conversation between people that like solving problems, and I asked out of the three things that I picked three things that everybody agrees with that's an issue, right? Racism, obesity, and sexual discipline. Out of those three, which one can you make an instant change within you to defeat all of those?
Which one is it again? Say it again.
Obesity,
Mm-hmm.
racism,
Right.
and sexual discipline.
So you're saying, which one can you easily change?
Yes,
I think you can easily change obesity. I,
that's
I
that's
think that's an easy one to fix, because that deals with you. That deals with your own health, and that deals with looking in the mirror and accepting accountability for it.
yeah,
Yeah, that's an easy one for me. I think it generally.
yeah. Do you
Yeah.
think so let's just say if you looked at the same one and you knew it was something like, let's say if you were obese and then you look at it, would you say obesity is the hardest thing, the easiest thing to change?
Well, when you're fat, it's hard to see the problem. First thing you have to do is acknowledge that you're fat. You're not thick. You're fat. You're fat. You have to acknowledge you're fat.
Yeah,
There's no excuse for it. You're fat. You know your BMI, and I don't really go by science, because sometimes you can have muscle weighs more than fat and all that sort of stuff. But when you get on a scale, you're fat. You're fat. That's
yeah,
it. And you got to say, okay, what do I got to do first? Fix it. First thing is, you are what you eat. You are what you eat. And second thing, take the fork out of your mouth. I don't care what kind of diet you go on. You could go to intermittent fasting. You can do a thing, but you have to take the fork out of your mouth and acknowledge that you're fat. If you acknowledge you're thick, you ain't gonna lose weight because you're thick, and it's falling in the right places. Yeah. But what others see is two different things.
yeah.
You
Do
know,
you, so so like in this whole sell your soul conversation, right?
right?
Um, in it, like I like to lay out how I'm thinking about it, right?
Okay.
We're walking through like this hypothetical world on this conversation. So the rules, the laws of the land right now is about, like what you got to do to sell your soul, or like what does selling your soul look like along this conversation, right? Because I got I get the idea that some people just don't know certain things. There's a difference between like being ignorant and there's varying degrees of people's general ability to understand the conversation, right?
Right.
But there's always going to be some commonalities that's going to allow you to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? Choosing left or right, you know what I'm saying? Or stopping altogether, just disengaging, right?
Okay.
So when we get to a certain point in this conversation, if you're choosing delusion over logic, I'm just looking at it like that's what someone selling their soul looks like. Because you know what's right, and you're gonna you're gonna use your ego to justify, you know what I'm saying, the wrong decision. You know what I'm saying? Because it requires you to look at yourself first.
Right.
So
Well, that's the main thing about everything we talk about, right? Is accountability, and we have to take accountability for the things we want to change. If you don't take accountability for what you want to change, you're saying you first of all, you're saying you don't believe it. Second of all, you're not acknowledging it. And third, change can't come about if those two things aren't in play. I mean, why would you change something that's perfect? It's like when people say, "Oh, I'm a 10."
yeah,
Really? Like,
I mean,
and I'm 6'4". I could believe it all I want. You could say what you want and want what you want. Just don't expect delusional results. That's all.
and that's the thing. At some point, right? You know how we say the need to be right. You know, like all of the talking points that Kevin Samuels captured very well. When it goes past the initial shock of you can't be wrong, and then when you just stay on that side to just stay on that side, like at some point your unwillingness to change is you selling your soul too. Because like think about some of the conversations we've had, just in how your opinion has evolved and how you've had to be flexible in the things that you consider when it comes down to dating or whatever else it might be, right? It's like I may have to reconsider doing that, because like for instance, you've been talking about like the extra hustling that you've been doing, you know what I'm saying, the extra work you put in, and you've said it on the show because you're saying, hey, I want a certain thing, I want a certain outcome, and I'm willing to go do it. Now, if you say that and then not willing to put in the extra work, then you're just talking. Now you're wasting everybody else's time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not making any progress. So at some point, how are you helping your wolf pack? How like you just around, sucking up all the energy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
And so you got to be making progress.
Listen, the best things that happened to me lately, and I would say lately, like, and if I was to use the law of attraction, the Tony Robbins theory, and all those motivational speakers, right,
Mm-hmm.
is over here we're able to say sorry, we're able to take accountability, and that's how we make change.
Yeah.
If you can't understand or call me a certain name, because if I make that change, that's because you're not over here. My job is not to convince you. I'm seeing the results with the changes I'm making in myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've come to realize that, like, okay, seriously, Antoine, man, like it ain't working. You ain't got the relationship you want. You ain't meeting up with the women you want. You're attracting what you don't want, right?
Yeah.
If I don't acknowledge that I'm attracting this shit,
Mm-hmm.
how is the right person or the right woman going to come into my life? I have to be realistic. Women in their 30s today, whether they've been divorced or baby mamas, they're going to have some sort of kid, right? Something at that age bracket is going to come with a relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to be realistic to that, right?
Yep.
Because I can honestly say, because at the same time, we're telling these women, if they're 35, not married and no child, they're failures.
Mm-hmm.
See, so I can't call them failures when at the same time I'm trying to get with them.
Right. That's why I'm glad you said that, man. It's like, yo, when you have that hard opinion, that that can't be refuted, but you know that if it's heard the right way, people will take it seriously. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is like the whatever you're putting out, it's gonna come back to you because you don't know who is landing on. You don't know who is impacting. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, like, it's so important for people put out a constant stream of healthy, like content that people can actually, answer their own gripes. You know what I'm saying? Because like you're not feeling no different than anybody else, probably.
Right.
So it's only a matter of time for you sync up with somebody that echoes the same way you feel.
Right. It's
Because,
like I came to this reality. I listening now. Like I said, I toned down what I listen to on the internet because I don't watch regular TV unless it's a show like My Walking Dead and stuff like that. But anyways, um, and I've come to the realization. People say men and women are not are not um, are not equal, and I said yes, they're not equal in certain things. There's certain things men do better than women, and there's certain things women do better than men. We play different roles, but the weight of what we do differently is the same. The weight of it, like a doctor will tell you, and a real doctor will tell you, there's no pain a man could feel alive like giving birth to a child. A doctor will tell you that, like you don't know, and that woman's body will never be the same again, ever. So that puts a lot of weight on what the man can't do. Now, we can go out and work, and the reason we go out and work harder than women is because we're bigger, stronger, faster, and more alive, right? The minute we go out, the minute why we're so more calm than women is because when shit hits the fan, we have to keep a cool head before they take us to jail or there's a fight, because we can get into that confrontation. So in these areas, we have to be very careful, right? Now, if I was to move that over to the woman's side, there's no way in hell we can nurture a baby like a woman. We don't have those emotional tools. They can come home from work, a stressful day, wash their hands, and start breastfeeding and start being tired and do the whole boo-boo thing. We can't do that. We can't do that. We need to get on our couch, have a beer, decompress, and do all that. So the weight of what she's doing is a lot, and she can cook on top of that and get a meal together for us and hand us the beer, put the baby down to bed and be the last one and put on all that cream on her face for the nighttime sleeping. We ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I'm falling asleep hard face, right? If anything, she's arguing with me saying take a shower. So I think the weight of what we do is equal, but the acts of what we do, men do more than women. And we're meant to do more than women because we're stronger.
I think
that's how I look at it.
I think it's what you just described is being complementary instead of competitive. Because complementary instead of competitive.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yes,
I think in this whole mix of the philosophy of what I believe accountable masculinity intends to do is to show and model how like men actually work together to solve problems and have conversations that lead to solutions.
Right.
Because we don't have time to sit around and talk about things that we can't change and can't affect, and something is I believe is it takes a simple approach, to creating the space for it to actually flourish, because the people that want the same thing going to make it grow. You don't have to control it. So like within that, you when you start establishing better, I guess, synergy between the right men that care about, like adding value to the world, you're gonna get different dialogue. You're gonna have different perspectives that are gonna shape the listeners' next decision. Because this conversation here, the topic itself might be enough to make a person evaluate what they do every day with their self-worth. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the selling of the soul. You know what I'm saying? When you're in a position where you're always being devalued,
right,
and you fight to stay in a place that you're being devalued,
right,
that's what I'm talking about selling your soul. When you got more complaints than solutions, and then you stay wherever the complaints get generated from, at some point, what are you going to do?
But when you say selling your soul, see, selling your soul to me, if outside of like I said, I want to make it clear to these viewers that are religious nuts.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about Bible. I'm not talking about God. When I say selling your soul, is like knowing what you're gonna do is wrong,
Mhm.
but you're still doing it because it's gonna get you ahead.
Yeah, like yeah, I get that. I saw how
And
devious
I'm
you.
all for that.
Hey, you had to change your body language to explain it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes,
like
I'm
that's
all for that.
yeah, that's when you've already made the
That's
decision.
I want, and to me, that's called a sacrifice, but that is in a form of selling your soul because you know what you're doing is wrong. You don't need to be explained to you that it's wrong. But that little white liar will put you ahead tenfold.
So I think what I'm looking at is like so one of the pieces in my mind that sparked this conversation is people remaining in abusive relationships, whether it be verbally, financially, physically, or whatever, right? And they all have different psychological impacts to people. And you hear the same kind of like metrics to every story, and you start noticing that everyone had a low level of self-worth, low self-esteem or something like that, but they're able to reflect on that because at some point they said no more. Now that those stories create, like the pivot point that everybody has when they get ready to do something or get ready to stop doing something that they have been accustomed to doing because they don't, it's not serving them. It's not being health, it's not being reciprocal in a healthy way, right? And you know it, and you keep doing it, and you keep looking for the same praise. You know what I'm saying? And it's not happening. You know what it's like when you try to sell your art, and what it was like to try to convince somebody, to invest in what you were doing and showing them the value of commissioning a piece that if they're already pretty, well to do, if they got a privately commissioned piece of art from you, and then, what I'm saying, your brand takes off and it goes where it needs to go,
Yeah.
they're going to be able to say, hey, he created this for me. And it's about the work that you put in. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. But okay, look.
so I understand what I'm saying is that your version of what selling your soul looks like. I get that. That's the tier that everybody already, I think, understands and accepts.
But
But
I
I'm
don't think you can understand it. I don't think people really want to make it. When people tell me, when people tell me they want to be successful, when people tell me they want to be rich, when people, I go and coming from on that side, I'm looking at you going, are you really prepared to make that sacrifice?
yeah, do
Like,
you know?
are you really ready to stab somebody in the back? Like, are you genuinely ready? Because you're not gonna make it without somebody. You're gonna break a few eggs.
Bluetooth connected.
Yeah.
Okay. And I really want to know, are you ready to break those eggs? Because I am. I've made that sacrifice. Hell, I'm still freaking single, and I'm telling you now, I made those sacrifices, right? It took that to get me here. It did. It
Yeah.
really, really did. That was one of the major sacrifices I made, and I regret it in some ways, and I don't regret it in other ways. Because one, I didn't want the struggle of, and I didn't want to do all that fucking struggle and shit, and I didn't want that, right? And and knowing how much, I don't know about most people, knowing how much Medicare is here and all this, to pay. I mean, I was not gonna do that. I was like, hell no. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not taking no chances working out and not having insurance and shit like that. So
Yeah.
when people talk like that, I just look at them like, are you prepared? Well, what do you mean, Antoine? Well, you're gonna break a few eggs. You're gonna lose a lot of good friends. You're gonna burn the midnight oil, and you're gonna sacrifice a good relationship. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that?
Man, yeah, that's
If
what.
you're okay with that, then you ready.
Yep. Man, look, you talking it because
I don't know about you.
and that's what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? And
If Vic's writing this book and somebody's in his ear, Vic's gonna tell him fuck off so I can
yeah,
write this book. If you don't like it, no, just lose my number because I gotta finish this book.
yeah, it's important.
Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Because don't come looking for me after the book is written and saying sorry, because I already wrote you off because I did what I had to do. I did what I had to do with you in order to get this book done.
Yep.
So, you know,
you got to.
I'm just being honest.
It's you got to have something that's in front of you. You know what I'm saying? Something that, like I said last night, I wrote this a couple days ago. I said, if you know exactly what you want, it's not going to be easy to get it.
I wish everybody would be doing it, man. Come on.
Everybody already have it.
You know, when people, it's funny, Vic, I was talking to this friend of mine the other day too, and even on listening to social media, when people tell me, they say, oh, I don't want a girlfriend. Oh, I don't want a man. I just look at them and you know what that means to me? You can't get one. It's easier to tell yourself that than the opposite. It's just easier to tell yourself that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to tell yourself, I don't want that. Because you can't get it. Because generally speaking, how we are all created is to want a companion. Or else Eve would have never been in the damn garden.
Right.
Like, even God knows Adam needed a mate. Like, so you're only trying to, it's like when people get abuse, when women get abuse, right? I just look at it. A part of me tells me, first of all, you think you deserve that slap because you're thinking about leaving. And second of all, you think that's the best thing you can do in front of you. Right? Because if you really, really had self-worth, self-esteem, and you really had shit going on in your life, you wouldn't tolerate that abuse. You would find some way out.
Yeah.
Right? Because first of all, today we have way too many avenues. So there is a way out. Now it's a choice. Now in today's technology, we don't have those same excuses. Like when people say, I missed your call. Those days are gone. You didn't miss my call. You just didn't want to call me back. Like there's certain things that are gone.
Yeah, I can
understand. When people tell me there's no avenues, I'm thinking, or they don't have a computer. I'm like, have you ever walked into a library? You can sit down and use one, right? Like there's cafes you can actually pay by the minute. Like you don't have really that excuse anymore like you did before. You may have access getting to it, but the excuse itself, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you gotta. And that's what I'm saying. Like if you're fighting to stay in the abusive space at some point, now what? Right? Like I get it, but especially like if your sanity or your physical or mental safety is on the line, then at some point you're gonna have to make a certain type of decision. You know what I'm saying? If you want safety, if you know what I mean? And I understand what you're saying when it comes down to you got to make a choice.
Yeah, you got to make a choice. Vic, man, people need to understand that in the physical world that we live in,
Bluetooth connected.
He made a choice. That man or that woman made a choice to hit you, right? So now you have to process it. I don't believe in forgiving it. It'll never happen to me because if it happens, it's done. We're over. I will never feel comfortable with you capable of doing that to me again. And I don't know. And I don't want to sleep with one eye open. So we're done. We'll find a way to break up because I don't think you should ever get to blows. Me personally, right? So I don't have a once, twice, 3 times and it's over. No, you hit me. That's cool. I'm going to hit you back. And that's cool too. But we're done.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think women need to tolerate that at all. Now, if you tolerate it, don't go crying to your friends. You chose to tolerate it. Like you said, he said he was sorry. You believe that bullshit? What? Why would you believe that?
Yeah.
He got to the level to be physically okay with hitting you. And you, for some reason, lowered your level to accept it. So you're not who you were when you started this relationship anyways.
Man, look, I understand what you're saying, and that's kind of what I'm talking about.
That's selling your soul too, by the way.
That's my point right there. When I said earlier, I said staying in an abusive relationship at some point, it has to have the element of soul selling involved at some point. Because what else is there,
Right.
Because You can't. You like that? You just can't be in a situation just getting boxed up. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that you still want to be here.
Yes.
You got to fight back.
Why even fight back? If you even get to that level.
And what I mean by fight back is get out of the situation.
Get out of the situation.
Yeah,
you should be thinking of your exit. You should be thinking of your exit plan right away. Like there's no
right here.
What?
Check this out. Do we want to talk about the verbal abuse that the man goes through before the physical abuse takes place?
Well, exactly.
Ooh, hey.
Okay.
Oh man, look, I'm gonna put a number up too, because like we start taking some calls in a little bit and see how.
Okay, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got one for you. And this is my version of when people say verbal abuse. Okay, if anyone, and I'm not only talking women, if anyone says something that's internally destructive to me or externally prohibits me from getting what I need to get, okay, not only will it excommunicado, but we're done, right? So, because I will always have that in my mind that you were capable of saying that to me. You left a scar. And scars don't heal. They fade, but they don't heal. Every now and then the sun will shine on the scar and remind you of why you got that scar. Mm-hmm. Same thing goes for the matters of the heart. So those are even more destructive because verbal abuse plants seeds, and those seeds grow or they fester until they get big enough to grow. But at the same time, they're growing because you know that person is capable of saying that destructive thing again. And if it's something destructive that's demeaning, condescending, puts you in a very, very low level state of mind, my God, why are you staying with this person? This person's come into your life to water your plant, not fucking dry it up and suck the living life that's left in it. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Man, look.
Look,
you're not
again, as another form of selling your soul.
Yep. I'm telling you, like,
the
level of it, like Chris, shout out to Chris who says this all the time. We're not that dumb. You know what I'm saying? We have the ability to change our outcomes, which when I brought up those three different topics, obesity, racism, and sexual discipline, right? All of them have value, right? But only two of them have a face.
Okay, explain that. You can break it down.
Okay, the main value is that this is a utopian way of thinking, right?
Okay.
But the two that have a face are the sexual discipline and the obesity, because that's the individual. That's the person that's looking in the mirror.
Right.
Like nobody else, is responsible for that. Those are choices that you can make too, So like when you know that where the majority of your friction comes from between those two right there, you got a decision to make. And
I'd say those two are the main ones that people have a problem with today. Listen, racism will always be around. Okay, aliens will come down from Earth one day, and we'll hate them too. Racism will always be there.
Yeah, right? It doesn't matter.
Let's just get that out of the way. Now, how you handle it, how you deal with it, how you carry yourself.
So now you got
two depend on how much you draw to you.
Right. Right. Now you got two things left,
and you got two things left that are constant: obesity. That's funny. Which is obesity. What's the other one?
Sexual discipline.
Sexual discipline. But but men that don't have things going for them in life will be unsexually disciplined. Right? When you have things going on in your life and you really got things going on in your life, like you're building, you're going to do everything you can not to get that porky pregnant. You're going to say, yeah, I can't. No. I know the fugly ones need some loving too, but you're going to do something. I mean, you got needs and like everybody else, but you don't want to get that woman pregnant. You know this, right? So you'll do what you can to protect yourself because you know the element that you know what you have to lose. The men that don't have anything to lose, and usually it's the tall, good-looking guys that sex comes easy for them. They got a six-pack naturally. They ain't got two dimes to rub together, and they're driving a Pinto. But what that one outfit they have that they keep under that plastic bag that they wear every Saturday night, and then they tell the girl to explain the story to her why they live in here, and it's a friend's place. Like, they laying it down, right? Yeah. But someone like me, I don't have that kind of game. I'm already lost the minute you looked at me. At least I'm honest about it.
Hey, and somebody would hear that and think that you got low self-esteem,
Well, it's truth. I'm 5'6". You think I walk out? I already know looks and height goes out the window when I'm standing on my wallet. I ain't care. I dress like the shit. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good. Yeah. I know that already. I'm not gonna pretend what I'm not. That's like me telling a 5'6" basketball player that's in love with the game he's gonna make it to the pros. I ain't telling him that, Smoke. Are you crazy? You ain't going nowhere. You'll be the water boy at most.
Ooh, that's hateful. Yeah,
that's the truth. You'll probably be a coach's assistant of assistant.
What did you think about Spud Webb?
Spud Webb was great for his time, but his time came and went. You can't be Spud Webb today. You can't be Spud Webb today. Kids are coming out of college 6'1", high school 6'2", 6'3".
You know what I'm thinking? I'm really thinking like, who's the shortest man in the NBA right now?
Look at Wananabe or whatever is that guy's name. He's in the 7 foot. Yeah. He's even taller than Shaq now. These guys are coming out bigger now, taller, faster, more lean. The game's changed. These guys are wearing size 16. Like, where you going?
At 12 years old.
At 12 years old, man. These guys are 6'1". You ever see these football players today? 320 is normal.
Evolution is crazy when you
exactly. You got 6 guys in the front in football weighing 320. That's if you're not 320, you ain't blocking shit.
I gotta find out who is the shortest player in the NBA.
Hey, Google that one. You know what I mean? You got people. You could talk word salad all you want. Shit, you ain't making it. You ain't gonna be the 1% of the 1%. Sorry, sucks to be you. You can love the game, but you're gonna serve a purpose elsewhere. I ain't gonna blow smoke up somebody's butt. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind, man. And anybody that tries to tell them sweet words nicely that they're not gonna make it, you're not gonna make it. Get over it. Get all the crying out now.
I'm gonna put the screen up here.
Get all the crying out now. Get it over with. You know what I mean? You got a limp leg. You ain't running the Olympics.
Who's the shortest player in the NBA? And we already know
he's gone though.
Yeah, we talking about, and I need to find currently, right? So
yeah, you gotta find currently.
Let's see here.
You gotta find currently.
Right now, let's go with that.
6 foot in the NBA is considered short.
Isaiah Thomas, 5'9".
There you go.
The threshold for who the size limit for the shortest player in the league is Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, and he ain't playing no more.
No, this is a different Isaiah Thomas.
Oh, you know what I mean? It's like, who are you kidding, Vic? Who are you kidding? I don't understand why it's so hard to be honest with a kid. My kid's coming out, and hopefully there's some good.
It's a dream.
My father's tall. My brothers are tall.
You know what it is?
I forgot after my mom. I mean,
it's probability versus possibility. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Son, can you possibly make it? Sure. Is it probable? No.
No.
No. But I'll support you up until your dream comes a reality to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, because
how many overseas players are 6 foot that haven't made it?
Right.
They're going overseas for a reason.
Hey, look, you saying all of the right things,
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't understand how you cannot. People will call that tearing down your dream. You never had one. Ooh. You had an unrealistic goal.
That's
unrealistic expectations. You're being deluded. That's insanity and delusion combined. Shit, man. You think you're gonna be a quarterback? You're gonna be a quarterback what? Throwing over guys that are like monsters? Boy. Yeah, when I'm gonna be a quarterback. Bro, first of all, you can't lob every ball as a quarterback. All right? Let's get that. And you can't duck underneath them. Okay, even what's his name? That football player that I loved from the Dallas Cowboys. What was his name? Yes, they're running. I loved him too.
What position did he play?
I think he was running back.
Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith. You think there's an Emmitt Smith that small today? Exactly. Think about it.
No, I was about to think about it. Like, no, running backs have gotten smaller.
I think they've gotten bigger.
Actually, they haven't. I would say.
I love Emmitt Smith, but they ain't one today.
Yeah,
he was a freak of nature.
It's quite a few. I believe that there's way more physical looking talent in the league, but they're not playing on teams in effective roles where like, because the running back is not the position that they value as much as they used to. Now they value the wide receivers, the tight ends, just the offensive guys, pretty much. Every other position but the running back. They've actually been projecting that the running back position would eventually go away, similar to like the fullback went away. So if everything evolves, man, like and
exactly everything evolves. Yeah. Records are meant to be broken.
Yeah, so
records are meant to be broken.
We getting break 19, 20-year-olds that's 7'5".
Right.
It's crazy.
I tell everybody, like there's some great singers out there, right? But as a creative, I can speak on this as a fact. I don't care what anybody says, as a fact. Right? You can have the greatest song ever, and it could be sung from the original person sang it. Nobody can ever come along and sing it as good as that person or better. Why? Because the magic was already captured by him. You're just improving on what you heard. But the magic has already been captured. Even if you sing it at the highest level, people are going to say, Whitney Houston did that. There will never be anybody to top. There will never be anybody to top Whitney Houston opening for the Super Bowl singing the national anthem. No one will ever top that. You will have the Mariah Careys of the world. You will even have the Aretha Franklin. She just captured the magic. It was so good they even made a little CD of it on one side. Like, there will never be that again. Ever.
Yep.
The magic is already captured. So will somebody come in and improve on it? Absolutely. Will somebody come and make it sound differently and really cool for the new generation? Absolutely. But they'll always say, hey, Whitney did it best.
Yep.
You think somebody can sing Rock With You, Michael Jackson's Rock With You, better than Michael Jackson?
And make you, and how can you listen to Michael Jackson's music for anybody and not think about his visuals?
Yeah.
Like you have, look, denying that, you selling your soul.
You're selling your soul.
That's what I'm saying. Like stuff
people don't
like
even touch some people don't even dare to touch singing Michael Jackson's song.
You see earlier when I talked about, I said this is the utopia of like like the first people that set the groundwork and we agree on it. That's the law, Exactly. So anything outside of that, I don't even really want to hear your explanation, because like I do believe that there are other standards of iconic, performances like that, right? Because Prince's Super Bowl was crazy. It was in the rain.
And you think somebody could come along and top it?
Like it was in the rain, and it was Prince.
He was singing that guitar like it was not even raining. Like the man was dancing on heels,
playing the guitar.
Who's gonna come and do that?
You can't say, like, name a performance. Like, see, those two performances go in their own box, like individually. You're not going to say Whitney's performance was better than Prince's, and you're not going to say Prince's performance was bigger than Whitney's.
Those are called phoenix. They're phenoms. They're phoenix. They're meant to come, inspire generations to come, and like all things that are on fire, they burn out and they die early. That's all they're there for. the Michaels, the Elvis, the Beatles, they all die early. They're just meant to inspire generations to come. They're not meant to last. Greatness like that can't be contained forever. It just doesn't happen. I mean, you guys are acting for something that's not going to ever be, you know? That's like saying there's going to be another Michael Jordan. Listen, LeBron is great, and LeBron is known. Can't beat it. Michael Jordan is worldwide. He's the face of basketball. You talk martial arts, you're talking Bruce Lee. You say boxing, you're talking Ali. Who's going to pass those names? Like, even if the new generations come in, there'll always be somebody said, you should have seen Jordan play.
Yeah. Hey.
He's good. Even Kobe was a top. And they still put Kobe next to Jordan.
Yeah. Hey, look.
It will always be because the magic has already been captured.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I can paint the Mona Lisa. I could probably do a better job than what that guy did. Leonardo was great. He was great for his time. But I can never do that because I will never paint it good enough for you to see mine being better than his because the magic was captured by him. I'm just duplicating what I see. That's all. And I'll never do it.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, Vic, you wrote Accountable Masculinity. Nobody could come along and write what you did. They'll probably add to it and maybe change their words to make it sound like their own. But the original book, I mean, I'm being realistic, bro.
Yeah, like, man.
And it's not saying you're better than the best in the world. You're just saying the magic is already captured. It's out there.
The magic has been captured.
It's been captured. I'm sorry, man.
That's why you don't get the same type of genius from the same, like, it's, you get that one person in that space of time and that's it, and they capture the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Like when you think about like a certain type of music, right? And the music makes you think about what was going on in the world around it at the time. That's why when you hear about like those Vietnam movies, you know what I'm saying? The music from that era captures, you know, like what was going on. You know what I'm saying? And like that's why like all of this stuff, the creative stuff, anything that artists produce is really like time travel. That's in my thought. When you're looking at a certain type of painting, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I could have did better than that guy. But when you think about the materials he used to put it together, now that's where
I'm lost. Don't look at me. I want daylight. I just go like this. They might have to wait till the sun came up.
Yeah, he had to, and who knows how
that number one brush he's peeling off a horse's ass when it sleeps at night, taking the brush and winding it on a piece of wood. I ain't doing that shit.
Yeah, I like that's
like that. Even if you give me that brush, I couldn't paint with it.
That's like a person like that. When you break down those little details of like what they had to do to actually paint it, when you can go down the street and just go get, you know what I'm saying, like some more paintbrushes or even better, like order it on your phone. The fact that you even have a phone, you know what I'm saying? Like when you got more resources, you got less excuses.
You got less excuses, man.
And then with this guy, you know, what he had to do to, you know what I'm saying, get that vision out on a canvas with the materials provided during the time frame he was doing it in. Who knows? It probably took him 3 years to paint it.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yeah, I think that was what I read somewhere.
Why would it take so long? Well, the sun had to come up every day at that time. Well, let me tell you. You know, yellow at night doesn't look like yellow during the day. I mean, even if he had a candle, it just doesn't look the same, right?
Yeah, man.
He couldn't match the color. He had to wait. He couldn't match the color, and then there's a drying period. So I mean, there's a process behind things. He
had to sell his soul to paint that.
Yeah. Look at Michael. A good example. Look at Michael Jackson. Like he even said it himself as somebody creative. You look at the greats, you master the greats, and you just improve on the greats. But again, you look at the greats that did it before you, and those are the GOATs. Those are the real GOATs. Like, listen, the game changed after Michael Jordan. Everybody wanted to do it like that. You know, like Karl Malone. Those are like freaks of nature being 7 foot in that time and era. What the hell did he eat? You know, like, like, I mean, it's just it doesn't happen like that, and people take that for granted. You know, when you're looking at something and you capture it, bro, you just better not blink and make sure you absorb it all. So that's all I'm saying. Selling your soul. Listen, these guys sold their souls to do what they did, and it came at a cost. They died early. I'm sorry to tell you, man.
Like, how did you like when was the moment where you knew that you were spiritually committed to the work that you do?
I think my mother told me. I wasn't. I don't. You know, I told you the story. I think I even mentioned the story.
Like when, like, what was the very moment that you remember when you embraced it? You was like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna do this until I die.
Oh man, dude, I would have to say when I was drawing comic books back in the day, from my first Flintstone comic book. When I first saw Flintstone, I was hooked. I was freaking hooked. I said, "How did they make those pictures move?" I was hooked. I was done. I was in. I was all in with color and shit. You know, I was all in with color and shit. That's why I said to you, everybody should find out their love colors, and when they're their significant others, do it.
Is that how?
If you really want to connect, you know.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about that before too.
Yeah,
because
that's with the one though, eh? Not just any girlfriend. That's with the one. I mean,
hey, remember going back? Hey, I'm glad we're having this conversation. You know, because when we were talking about before, like you talk about the dating conversation, right? Where you went up to what was it? Whatever the place was that you had to make the drive to.
Right.
Then we talked like a couple weeks after that, and you know, because you were having your moment where you were saying you got to adjust some things that you're doing, you know, and then now we come to this moment right here where you were talking about like man, I just lost my thought, but I was gonna make the connection. We was talking about selling your soul.
Selling my soul.
Yep. If you wouldn't have been flexible enough in that conversation, like it took you a week. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna make that mistake again, though.
Yeah, but my point is that you had your initial perspective about why you chose what you chose.
Right.
Then you had time to hear what you said back to yourself.
Yeah.
And then say, man, you know what? From a solutions-based aspect, I could have made it work if I had made these decisions.
Right.
And once you have that, you know what I'm saying, that decision making down, you could say, you know what, I gotta vet me too. While I'm vetting what I'm looking at and who I want to, you know what I'm saying, give my energy to, I need to vet that too. You know what I'm saying? Because you're worried about what you want. And a lot of people, when they lose that objective point of view and they can't be corrected, they can't accept, you know, new information, those people have sold their souls. They'll tell you what they want, but they're not willing to take in the information and make it work for them.
It's like even the girls that do OnlyFans and sex work, right?
Mm-hmm.
They must be realistic that they sold their soul to do this. Like there's this sacrifice that will come that they made. No one in general, and I'll say no one, men will probably, some will tolerate it, but generally no one will take them serious if everybody's seen it. If everybody's seen it, there's nothing special about it anymore. There's nothing special about it anymore, right? And they don't understand that. There's nothing special about it anymore. If I want to see you naked, I could just pay for it. So you're not really hiding anything that's going to surprise me when I undress you. They don't understand that part, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of selling your soul. Unfortunately, it is. You know, you can do the sex work, and like I said, you can have delusional expectations that you'll find that millionaire or a rich guy that will match your salary. Never happen. But you can say it all you want, but at the end of the day, it's not going to work out. You're not going to find that love because you sold that a long time ago. That package is gone. And when you do find love, it's when you're forgotten, everything is hanging, and then somebody will come along because they'll say, "Hey, you know what? I've done it all. I've had my kids.
Time
You
to go.
know, that's when you are so ugly right now. Ain't nobody gonna remember you anyways. You ever look back at those old Playboy magazines and you look at them and they're hot, like Linda Carter for Wonder Woman? Shit, I don't even want to see Linda Carter right now. I forgot what she even looked like. I'm just saying, like, you just move on from it, and that's when you'll meet a guy when nobody else recognizes you, because now you're starting anew, because nobody knows who you are. So now it's all fresh, all new.
I'd imagine imagine being like I know what you want. You want to experience a high level of success. And
Yes, I made that sacrifice, and I will take that over a woman any day.
yeah.
Love
So
wise, love wise, right? Not
yeah.
companionship wise, love wise.
Mhm.
Like, like my thing is, I have to really be realistic that if I get involved with a girl, I marry a girl, I have kids with her, right? I got to understand, like, this is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice you're making going into any relationship. I'm selling a part of me because it'll never be the same afterwards.
Yeah, I see what you're saying on that though, because like when you made the sacrifice for your work instead of the relationship, if you were dishonest with yourself, you would have chosen the relationship and still not have been happy, and
Yeah.
that's what you would have sold your soul. And that's that. Like when people quote unquote settle, they always talk about it in a negative tone, but the reality is that we all settle for what we can attract. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, dude.
Like that reflects in a healthy way. It reflects, who, like you're most compatible with. When you find out who you're most compatible with, you make a decision. The decision is to, you know what, I'm good right here. You accept what you can work with, no matter how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? No matter how expensive it may be for somebody else, everybody's level of acceptance is not the same.
Listen, you will settle when you've accepted exactly where you are in life. You will settle. You will settle. You will settle. You will settle when you've accepted all where you are in life. The delusion is gone. Life has told you, and life is telling you where you stand. And you will settle. At the end of the day, whoever you're with, you're settling, because that's the best you can do at the time you're doing it. That's it.
If that's what you desire,
If
and
that's what
it's
you
great, and if it's exactly what you want,
right,
then it's cool. No matter how anybody else may see it, and that's why, like, I don't like a lot of these superficial, the perception of superficial relationships, because I think it creates a really bad stigma that every dude gets rid of his girl just because he finally made it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
if he gets rid of her, that means she wasn't doing enough while he was trying to make it.
because, like, and that's my point. Like, if
That's a fact.
You don't do that when you're doing something. If you function in a disciplined way, you don't have people around you that just vacuuming up space. And
Exactly.
yeah, like, and whether they know they're vacuuming up space or not, you know what I'm saying, it's irrelevant. It's just the point that when you got somebody that you're not fully invested in, they become a liability, especially if you want to maintain it.
It's like, I look at Conor McGregor, right? He always says it. He had nothing, and his girl was supporting his dream.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, he married her because he knew that she is a girl that ride and died with him.
Yep.
And what did he do? He married her 5 kids later, right? Or 4, whatever they got. And that's what ride and died means, right? So she made that ultimate sacrifice, that I'm going to pour everything into this man. And he made that sacrifice. I'm going to pour everything into what I do best. And together, at the end of the day, he just had to look at her and go, this is the woman for me. I mean, she'd been through everything. How can I walk away from this? Now, does he cheat on the side? I don't know. Don't care. Haven't heard anything about it. That's not the point. The point is, that's the definition that she gave, and the definition of ride and die. That's the definition of build. And what did he do? Just made the right call. I married her. He can't do any better than her. He cannot do any better than her. She captured the magic. It's done.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And when a woman gives birth to a man's child, and let me tell you, it's the truth. And I'm telling you, the magic has already been captured. It's done. The magic has already been captured. You will never come first before that child, ever. And rightfully so.
The child is the magic.
The
They got
child is
kept.
the magic. That's why baby mamas need to understand the magic is captured. And men, it's not the child, it's the magic that he's not the first. It's not a bad thing, it's just a thing. And people need to understand. It's like a baseball player trying
I
to
like
go.
that you said that it's not a bad thing. It's
It's not
just
a bad thing.
it's like
Portray it as a bad thing. Like
yeah,
when you start putting whatchamacallit, when you start putting conditions on it and all that shit, and you start being unrealistic and start like, what are you, stupid? Like, I mean, that makes it a bad thing. That makes it a bad thing.
Now think about the people that's born into a complete dysfunctional version of what you were just talking about. How do they get out? Like how would you tell a person like that to get out of a situation like that? Because when we start talking about selling your soul, and you telling somebody like, that's wrong to do, and they act like they looking for help, and they truly are, but they don't know how to apply what you're telling them, right? Because we're talking about the dysfunctional version of everything you just talked about. Because somebody you might talk to that has never been raised in a situation where they got both parents that can explain you what capturing magic actually looks like, never had that. They don't have anything to relate it to. So imagine trying to get someone on that mindset. And that what you're talking about is the sexually undisciplined mindset. The disciplined mindset is everything you just described to break down why it's important to the man. You know what I'm saying? For him to have that specific experience with the right woman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that disciplined man that doesn't cheat on women, lives a monogamous life. You know what I'm saying? Because he got other things that are important. That man doesn't get the attention that he deserves. Just like the women that are actually classy ladies get, overran in the conversation because the wrong women get all of the attention. Like, where Chris talks about it's just the very few people that are loud, the loud majority that are both loud and the majority of the conversation piece. What happens when you get them out of the way? Now, who's arguing?
If a woman with a child wants to make it work with a man, right? If she really wants to make it work with a man, she has to understand. She has to have that conversation with her child, saying, "Listen, he's not your father, but he's the next best thing in your life. When your father's not here, he's there to replace, and he's there to benefit you." If she can explain, and then she has to put it in, she has to take the man's mindset and put it in her own and say, "Listen, this guy is taking me on with my little child. I need to make sure he knows that I know he's there. I know he's the man. I know I should take care of him. I know I have to take care of him, right? And what I have to convince him is that he has to also take care of me and take care of my child so I'm able to provide for him and give him everything he needs." And if she can translate that to him and not put her child first in front of him while he's looking, but put her child first behind him, good. It's going to work. That's what I'm trying to say. It's going to work. It's going to work. But you have to understand, you're asking him to make a sacrifice in his life.
Right.
And if you can convince him of why you are worth making that sacrifice and that you will put him first before all other, and I'm not saying ahead of your child, first in your life, because you're going to explain it to him. Dude, it's going to work. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be sweet. But when you start adding shit on, you ain't going nowhere.
I think we a lot of times we sell our souls when we have poor expectation management. Anything you give a lot of your energy away to, and it's just a hope, it ain't even really tangible. That to me is the soul selling, is the act of it too. You know what I'm saying? Like there's components in the thought that I have about it, because you have to put boundaries on you to that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? For where you are in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like when you stopping and looking at, because again, we're talking about what we want, right?
Right.
And we know that nothing is going to stop us from getting it. That's why, like, I asked you that question. What was the moment that you realized that you would die for, you know what I'm saying, for your art? You know what I'm saying? And when you have that revelation and that commitment, it don't matter what people say to you. It don't matter what they agree with. And that becomes that lonely walk. Now it'd be crazy, you know, if you accepted that and then you did something different midway through the walk and then complained. This is
Right.
part of it. Is this part of it, man? Like once you make that commitment, it's gonna be a lot of stuff that's gonna make it look. There's gonna be some attractive distractions.
Yeah. And people listen, man. The main thing is taking accountability and knowing there's a sacrifice you're gonna make for selling your soul. And if you can live with that sacrifice, you know, then that's you go ahead and do it. But we're not like again, I want to stress this because I know those idiots out there talking religious shit. And I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about talking about going against your morals and your values and your principles that will propel you forward. Because that's what it's gonna take. I'm telling you, that's what it's going to. You may be in a delusional land that I don't think that I'll need. That's great. Life will show you otherwise, but that's great. Life is going to show you otherwise, but you're not going to make it. Because when you start swimming with the sharks and they smell that blood, you're done.
You're food.
You're done. You're done.
Yep.
Sorry.
Big food.
It's just that's why I'm trying to say when people tell me, like I said, and I'll say it again, when they say they don't need a man or they say they don't want a relationship or they don't need a woman, I just look at them and go, that's because you can't get one. No other reason. And you know I'm right. You know I'm right because the man you want doesn't want you because you're not at his level anymore. And the one that that guy is looking behind you because that's where you once were and that's what he wants. And unfortunately, you passed that barrier. I've passed that barrier. I've passed that barrier. I've passed that barrier of younger, hotter, and fresher. I'm past that barrier.
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna bring nothing entertaining or even fulfilling in my life. I wouldn't say entertaining. I'll say fulfilling.
Yeah. Look at you using different words. Clean it up.
No, I won't say entertaining. I'd say fulfilling. It won't be nothing fulfilling. A 20-year-old, 25-year-old can bring nothing in my life intellectually. Nothing. There's nothing she can tell me that's going to impress me. I don't care even if she's a doctor to be. That's her profession, so she can talk to that shit all they want. She's a doctor with her education. I'm a doctor with a pencil. So it ain't going two different things, right?
Right.
So there's not, but intellectually, after we have good sex, there's nothing she's going to bring to the table that's going to stimulate me. There's no pillow talk. You know, that's a fact. So when these guys tell me, if any woman that has self-esteem and has pride in herself and even lets her man exercise his options, that stupid Kevin Samuels shit that high value men all of a sudden are talking about. I tell you something, you let your man do that, that just tells me about you. That has nothing to do with him. That just tells me about you. Right? Because he's providing something that makes you stay there. But deep down inside, you don't want to share him with any other man. You don't want him to bring home no nastiness to you. All right? You know where it's been. You know where that's been. You ain't sucking that no more, nor should you.
Yeah.
Let's be real. So why would you even tolerate that? Because he's paying all the bills? Oh, God, I mean, no, that's embarrassing. I feel sorry for you. I really feel sorry.
Do you think men or women sell this? Who do you think sells their souls more, men or women?
I think women today do. Modern women today do. I think that feminism has taken over. I think that chasing the bag has taken over that. I think women sell their soul. Listen, OnlyFans is huge, bro. And we're talking younger, hotter, younger women coming up fresh doing this shit. They don't even want to think about school anymore when they could go make $10K or $10 grand a month or $5,000 a month. That's a lot of freaking money, bro. And if you can make that out of high school because you got a good pair of tits and ass and nobody needs to know nothing and you change your name, come on now. And the only thing you got to worry about is high school friends finding out? Come on. You know what I mean? But can you ever hide it again? No. Did you damage? You sold your soul because you'll never find what you're looking for anymore. That's the road you went down, and it's a lonely road. It's very gratifying in the present. Don't get me wrong. But you can't. It's not a sustained life. It's like those 3/4 shots with your ass turned and tongue sticking out. There's only so many you can do. But after you hit 30 and you see a woman doing that, it's kind of like, eesh. It's kind of cringeworthy, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of cringeworthy. Like when you see a woman,
Well, like what's the
it's cringeworthy.
That's like the standard, like picture, right?
Yeah, 3/4 ass turn with your stomach sticking out.
Like the way that you just broke that down, you already got that filed away. Nothing else can deviate you off of that. You already know what you're looking at when you see that, right?
You know, you're in your 30s doing that. So, you're just desperate.
What's the man's equivalent to that? Do we have one of those? Do we have a picture that a woman can see, and then they instantly like, oh, I already know he's a complete, like what is their vetting criteria for us?
Oh, that's a good one. What would be the equivalent for a man doing that? That's a good one. Wow.
Because we don't think like yeah, think about it, man.
That's a good one. I'm stumped. I am stumped.
Yeah, like you like think about like why would
I'm gonna have to think about this one. Hold on.
Like look at it, fix your hair. Like go ahead.
I am stumped on this now. Wait a minute. That's a good question. What's the equivalent of the 3/4 ass turn with your tongue sticking out? That's for a man. Whoo.
Because like if you would thump away like a picture based off profile, stance, and pose, right? Do you think that somebody thumbed past your profile somewhere and said, what do you think that they would thumb past?
Well, listen, my profile gets swiped to the left all the time because I'm 5'6", right? Because that's the first criteria that I Googled it just to see what the statistics are, and that's the first criteria. So I already know that, right? I already know. I'm a people person. I'm better in person. I'm better in person than I am on online profile.
I would hope.
I have more game. I can talk and I can get myself into that circle.
Yeah.
But I don't have a good online presence as far as my dating apps. I don't think so. Because I don't meet the criteria of what they're looking for, right? They see the age, they see the height, done. I'm swiped to the left, right? And that's being realistic. I don't know what people are talking about. That's being realistic. And what did they say? Only 5% of women swipe right or something like that? I mean, so
Uncle Junior got a statement of this. How tall is Antoine when he's standing on his
wall? I'm good. I'm a good height. Oh, I'm a good height. Yeah. Oh, I'm a good height. That I've been told. So I'm good. I'm a good height. That's what gets me game. And the fat ones get me laid. So I'm good. I'm a good one on that. I'm good.
Look, how does he know that?
Because the results show it. It's
outcomes matter, huh?
Outcomes matter. That I know for a fact. I'm not even worried in that area. Like I said, I want quality over quantity, so I'm good. I'm not looking for that anymore, right? I'm looking for one that I really would like to see her in the morning time, not leave at night. Right? That's a fact. That's really good.
Yeah. Hey, look, what we got to figure out, like, that's a homework assignment. That's a homework.
I'm gonna have to think on that one.
If we was able to like go to like the Vegas, how people just do those random street interviews.
Yeah.
Like just ask the ladies.
That is a damn Vic. I am very, very, very stumped with that question.
Ladies, for those of you tuned into this podcast and that follow the content, what pose do you disqualify a man for? Because Antoine knows what poses that he automatically disqualifies women for.
Right.
So what pose? What's the worst pose a man can put up to get any type of attention from you?
That is a good. So what's the equivalent? No, you should say what's the equivalent to that one.
Yeah. What's the equivalent of
to that
the 3/4 turn ass shot for a man.
3/4 ass turn with your tongue sticking out, peace sign. Right?
Yeah.
That there's always that,
Like
with the
you start laughing because
You know when they have the person in the center of their body and they're like this. That's so that's so cheesy now. When I look at it, and especially when they're crossing into their late 20s, early 30s, I look at it and go, really? Like, I'm just saying, like,
Hey, coach over here messing with me, man, talking about Victor's put on his nighttime radio voice.
That I swear to God, when I see that picture now, when I go, like sometimes you could scroll through Facebook and you see that 3/4 ass shot turn with the tongue sticking out and the peace sign, and you're like, really? Like, especially when they're showing off the dress. The dress is the best part. Like sometimes the waistline is photoshopped because it goes in so tiny and the ass comes out like a tomato.
Yeah,
that's the best.
you know what I mean? Hey, you remember Star? She's in the comments right now. She said she never thought about which pose she liked. So,
which pose? I never thought about which pose I like.
like so because you don't know what women look for.
Whatever happened to Star? She never came back, huh?
She's been busy, man. Like life has been lifing for people. So
that's good. You know what? Busy is good because that means she's out of sight, out of mind, and doing what she needs to do.
I think Star just had she did a live not too long ago for her Facebook group.
Oh, she didn't invite us.
Hey, I think
nobody ever invites me, so I'm good with that. So nobody wants me. You gotta have. I don't have word salad. I just tell you like it is and move on. You don't like it? Well, let me tell you. You can't make bad news sound pretty. It's still bad news.
He said, "I don't have word salad."
I don't. Yeah. Listen, you ain't thick. You're fat. Word salad is. Well, you can lose a few pounds to encourage other men to look at you, and all that.
So look, this is great right here from Star. She says she went for the uglies so she could use and abuse them. So so fellas, some of y'all be looking like suckers. You look like food. You know what I'm saying? And
I don't blame a woman for doing that though.
And that's what I'm saying. You look like food.
I don't blame a woman for doing that. I'm sorry. If I'm a fine ass woman looking like a dime, I'm gonna rip every freaking penny you have. I will take you to the cleaners. If I'm young, hot, you paying for all the dinners. I'm milking you. And if you're stupid enough to give it to me, that just tells me about you. On to the next. Because I ain't looking to get married. I don't blame that at all. When women do that shit, I just said that teaches men to up their game. You gotta know that, man. Come on.
He passed up on the good-looking men. She said her husband is an anomaly.
Yeah, you know what? I'm glad she's honest about that. It's true. I'm glad. See, that's why I like Star. She's accountable and she's honest about it. Yeah. She got lucky, and that's great because you know what? Love found her, and that is when you're honest about it, you will attract what you want. But you got to be honest about it, and that's
you did say that. That's a good example of it, and
when you're honest about it, you're going to attract what you want because you're honest. You're telling the universe, listen, I know I did what I did. I'm honest about it. Now send me something what's really in my heart. It's going to find you. It's going to find you.
What's up, Didi? We appreciate you for always showing up, man. Look, I'm going back through the comments, right? And you're right, though, man. Like, until you're honest, you don't get what you say you want until you're honest with yourself.
You have to be, because then you'll attract it. And like people make fun of when girls say manifest and all that. I'm highly into that sort of stuff. Deepak Chopra and all that. Esther Hicks and all that good law of attraction stuff. The Secret. I'm into that. I love that stuff. Right. I go deep into that stuff. I can listen to that stuff while I'm drawing and I just get inspired and I become a better artist. But all that, because as an artist, we're visual. I know what ugly looks like. I do. No, I'm visual. I can tell you if a girl has fake tits because I know how the body is constructed, how it's supposed to hang, one tit lower than the other and all that shit. So I can tell that. There's only so much cleavage you can have before the muscle kicks in and it's fake, right? But I look at these things because I draw naked women, right? So me being very visual, I have no sense of, I have a very low sense, like how you explain it. I can't explain it. You can explain
you know what it is, Antoine? you interpret and express, and some people just translate.
Right.
So like I translate.
You're a good translator. That's given. You're really good because you understand what I'm saying when I say it.
Yeah.
Right. And you can translate it. I know what you mean. You mean this. And I'll be like, yeah, that's it. Right. Yeah. Like how you were able to pick off the picture thing and say, yeah, that 3/4, what's he perfect. And it wasn't thought about, it was just instinctive, right? You didn't think about it, it came instinctively. So that's where I lack. I'm like, forget that shit. You know, I'm like, no, you're right. And now I'm still thinking about it because I'm thinking, yeah, what would I say if we be the man version?
That's a good question to ask, you know, because again, we're talking about, you know, like attracting, right? You know, and once you first honest with yourself,
that's the only way you're gonna get what you want.
And then you could really, you know what I'm saying, really piece it together about what image you're putting out into the world. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Whether it be with your art, your behavior. That's why I always talk about behavior so much, because you don't get very many opportunities to stop somebody, give you a full resume, and then maintain that interest for the rest of your life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You gotta have something to hold their attention if that's the case, you know, or else what are y'all talking about? That's why, like, when we start talking about circles, wolf packs, and you know what I'm saying, mentorship and stuff like that, because that's the relationship is the currency you need to take what you're doing further, because you're really like one or two people away from somebody really, you know what I'm saying, making an investment in what you're doing.
Exactly. You know, it's like, put it this way, Vic, like if I'm gonna be realistic about how men are, right? Men are like this. We all want to be leaders. We all want to be leaders of our home. You know, we call our home our castle and all that shit, right? But if the majority of men make 47K, the majority of men make 47K, right? It's impossible that the majority of women are meeting up with high value men. You can't afford to be in their position, right? You can't afford to be where they are. You can't afford to pay $20 a drink. You can't afford to be valet because you ain't nobody want to see that car without being valet, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very few high-end women that can actually go to Sports Club LA, which is here in LA. It's, you know, over $200 or $300 a month to pay for, right?
Right.
And that's where they go to train because they know the hottest women that are there can afford to be there. So they know that that's where those women are, right? So if men are really being realistic, you're tall, you're good looking, the best thing you can do when you're looking like that and you got the aesthetics, I mean, you ain't no Adonis, but you got the aesthetics to work towards becoming Adonis, I think, is to up your game financially, because that's the next level, right? So if men are going to be realistic to up their game and to become better men, in order to improve your looks, you got to improve your wallet size, because that's all they're going to go off what they see and what pulls up in their driveway. Are there those women that will say, yeah, I'll date a bus driver and all that shit? Sure. But come on, you can't tell me a man doesn't want to drive a decent car. And I'm just saying, like, the average woman, like, if all over social media is telling you, listen, we don't like this, we don't like that, we don't like this, we don't like that, and you really think, well, I'm going to get that man that likes what I got, is going to walk through that, you're going to meet him in the grocery store, really? Like it'll never happen. Just like me saying, realistically, a woman wouldn't look at my height as the first thing. It'd be stupid of me. I wouldn't be living in a reality. My brother's tall. All my brothers are taller than me, right? They're all taller than me, but I'm realistic in that area. So when people tell me, you know, they want a guy making, you know, 100K, do you know what 100K is? Have you seen the women that step out of these men's cars? Do you really think you look like that? Like, you know, if your leg equals 2, you're not stepping out of their car. They'll tap it. I mean, everybody has a slow night, but they're not taking it home to mama. You're not going to get the benefits of it. So if you be realistic to that and you say to yourself, hey, you know what? I am thick. I am fat. This is not what they like. You are going to put 100% into bettering yourself to give that person what they want. You are. And if a man is realistic and saying, listen, I don't want a woman like this, I want this, you're going to put 100% into bettering yourself to get what you want.
Hang on a
And
second.
that's you selling your soul.
Hang on a second. Hello?
Hey.
Hey, look, you are live on this evening's Code Talk episode.
Is this real? Is this real?
This is Star. This is Star right here.
Oh. Hey, Star.
Can you hear Antoine? Hey, Antoine, can you say something?
I did. I said, hey, Star.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Yeah, you clear.
You live on the show.
Did she hear you?
So look, he was saying if a man has all the aesthetics, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he needs to get his money up next, right? Now, ideally, I agree with that. But I'm just going to keep it real, coming from a woman's perspective. Other women will agree. They will reluctantly agree. If she likes you, you don't have to tell her.
I didn't hear what she said, by the way.
She said, say that part again. If she likes you,
If a woman likes you, you don't have to do all the other things that is perceived as that is a front. A lot of women are saying, "Oh, I want this, I want that." They want to be reimbursed for being around a dude they don't like. Just keep it real. I'm just telling you how I felt in my single year. If I like you, I want to be in your company. Obviously, when I'm still with them, we like. I don't like people. That's why I'm with. But when I didn't like you, you're gonna have to do something for me. Period. I'm too pretty to be in your presence, and I really don't like you like that. And that's in my mentality. But I'm telling you, it don't matter. She will build with you if she actually likes you as a person.
Yeah, but we're generally speaking here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then,
yeah, like that. I think that scenario that Star is talking about is the exception that a man wants to be a part of. Like everybody's looking for an exception, somebody that they can, like that's the exception is what you settle for. Sometimes, like, because most people don't even recognize the exception from the sense that they think that they are the exception. Not that the person that you are attracted to is the exception, and you need to change the way you're viewing that person. You know what I mean? Because you can end up in a situation where it becomes very abusive, and then you make a decision that you regret. You look back, that person that you didn't handle the right way, they having a completely different life that you should have been able to have with them,
yeah.
So that's the cost of it. And then when you see that and it makes you fold up, then that's when you know you sold your soul. Especially,
like I said, but let's make it clear. I'm saying it's okay to sell your soul, right? You know that. I'm all for it. I'm all for it because that's called the sacrifice you have to make to get where you want to get. Like, I that's a realistic way to look at it. And I'm not looking at it from again, I have to put this disclaimer. I'm not looking at it from a biblical point of view.
You need monetary something to be in the presence. That means that you're selling something, right? You want something in return for giving something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
on the money with it. If you're going against your values and what you deem as in your heart is right, if you're going to have a conflict inside, then that can be deemed as indeed selling yourself.
Yep.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah, that and that's why like these different thresholds, for what people think is acceptable, really draw the line between, like the undisciplined side from the disciplined side of thinking. Like it's just clear, that some people are very, very forthcoming about what they would be willing to do, for to gain success at the next level of what they believe is their journey in life. You know what I'm saying? And what they choose gives you a good understanding of what they think of themselves.
Yeah. Like I said, as long as it ain't against God or killing somebody or against causing bodily harm, I'm in. I'm swimming in that water.
Yeah.
I'm like fucking drinking it like it's Kool-Aid, right? Because I believe in that, right?
Yeah.
But but I've already made that sacrifice. That's why I'm where I'm at right now. And as far as relationship wise and not having
That's true. Like everybody made a decision that put them in their current situation. And then the regret is when you sold your soul.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
know,
I'm talking about.
you know what keeps me up at night sometimes, jokingly, when I drink, and I only drink once a week. I think about, hey, if I would have got with that girl, would I be where I'm at right now? You know, I
How
think
much
about
further?
that.
Yeah, where would you be?
Would I have what I have right now? I always wonder that, like, because I don't believe a woman could take you anywhere. She can't do shit because it's your dream, it's your goal. I'm the one drawing. You ain't doing shit for me. You
So
ain't.
let me put
I'm
a
the one
pin right
drawing.
there.
You're not doing nothing for me.
So
If
let me put a
my
pin right
mother
there.
can do it, that's my mother and my family. But you ain't coming into my life and improving my art, right?
Look,
I'm just being real about that. There's nothing you're gonna bring in to help me produce that shit behind me. Nothing. No love. No. I can't take love to the bank. No.
Yeah. Like so check this out, right? So Antoine believes that he can't be enhanced by a woman when it comes down to his art. And we've talked about this back and forth, and there's been varying degrees of like how much better, you know what I'm saying, it could be, or if at all, you know. What do you think about that? Like from the aspect of being a wife and how it improves, how have you been able to see improvement, your impact in the marriage?
Well, I heard when he said that in the beginning of the live, and man creates law for himself. So you put that position stating that if you do have a mate that will interfere with your career, then guess what? Because you said that's what's going to happen. However, if you change the narrative and say, hey, me being in love is going to inspire my art. It's going to make me see things different. Because when you're in love, you don't see things the same. I can look at a rose, and it's still going to be a rose. But when I'm in love, that rose is alive. So your art changes when you're in
That's
love.
wild that shit right there.
Since I've been with my husband, my art has, oh my God. I mean, I can't, there's not enough airtime for me to explain all that I've accomplished by being with him and the things that I do plan to accomplish more. And I've shown this to you. Me and you have had a conversation about how you produce so rapidly when you are in that spiritual marriage. And it talks about this in Being Grow Rich in the sexual transmutation chapter. And this is also talked about in the law of gender in the Kabbalion. So when you are in a union and it is beautiful, you are going to produce rapidly. Think about it. Children come from a union. So if there's no children produced, something still got to get produced from an orgasm. So whether you're getting drained or you're being rejuvenated. My husband and I, we look very young.
Yeah.
And we're you know, but we don't drain one another because the love is mutual balance. So why don't you change your narrative and say, hey, I am going to welcome love, and all it's going to do is enhance what I'm already in. Not that someone can add to you, you're whole already. Because if you wasn't whole, you can't attract another person that can add any value. You have to be whole before you will attract another whole person. But when you bring two motherfuckers together, I mean, damn.
Yeah, because like going back to what Antoine said a couple of times in the show, you have to first be honest with yourself, and that honesty is it creates and affirms the reality, you know what I'm saying, that you got going on. Because you can have every version of what you think you're supposed to have, but that's anybody probability versus possibility, right? So you got to make a plan that corresponds with what a successful outcome looks like. You're not gonna go get a fishing rod to go hunt deer. You
But
know
let's
what I'm saying?
be clear. Let's be clear. I'm talking from a healed state of mind. I'm not talking it from a delusional, demented kind of way.
Of course not.
I am 100%. Okay, I'm not lonely. I'm just alone. I could survive on my own. If I did not want kids, there would be no reason for a woman to be in my life because I already get sex. Great. I already bust a nut. Great. I could get another dog. Great. I don't need her for that because I'm already whole without her. Now, will she bring an addition to my life and make things different and we do things together and a different level of enjoyment? Absolutely. But will she complete me? Will she make me a better artist? No, because I was this great before you came along. Shit, man. They ain't paying you to draw. I was this good before you, and I'll be this good after you. So that means when you're gone, I go back down to the level I was of drawing? Really?
Yeah.
When you're gone, I lose that heightened awareness of my art? Are you out of your effing mind? You did nothing for me. You brought me coffee, which I'm grateful. You supported me, which I'm grateful. But you didn't inspire this. I mean, what woman thinks she can do that? You think you what? I draw for the love of my family, and they're always going to be there. But they can't physically come and do it for me. Like when people, so that means when they're gone, I don't draw the way I draw? Or when I get the next girlfriend, now I'm drawing at that level again? Like, what? What are you saying?
I think
I was driving on that road before you came along, and it still went to the same direction. What are you talking about?
Let me. Come on. Come on, Star.
With another individual, they do have some level of influence on you because we're electrical beings. Not stating that this person is going to make you such a better artist. No, my husband, we have totally different talents. So yes, I'm a writer, but guess what? And sometimes he makes me feel, it makes me want to write happy shit. Now I can say, yeah, that was my inspiration. That came from me. But he was a catalyst, and that's all love does. And it's not like a person's going to come in and you're going to give them credit for your creativity. And I do hear you coming from a healed perspective. I'm just stating that sometimes our language and our perspectives are the very things that may be keeping us from what we feel we desire. So I just point those things out. Don't make those walls for self. Understand that everything that you want to embrace going forward is just going to be a beautiful thing for you. But you can determine that for yourself.
So check this. This is what I think. Maybe since Star's a writer and I'm a writer, right? So maybe we interpret the union differently than maybe artists such as Antoine. You know, maybe that is that might, I think that's probably closer to what it is. Like,
you really think your wife makes you a better writer?
Like, we all believe in, because I'm like what Star's saying, and it just depends on what I want to write, which is what, you know, like, and then this part where I understand what Antoine is saying. Like, nobody can change what I'm writing if I know the purpose of why I'm writing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Antoine has a piece of art, or better yet, Star, if you had a message that you needed to get out in the form of writing, and you know the end goal, the end recipient, it doesn't matter what happens in your life that day, because if it's a point A to point B, if it's a very linear writing, nothing can change that. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter how you feel that day. If you have to write the sky is blue, just because you're feeling bad that day don't mean that the sky is red. It's still blue.
And let me ask you, Michael Jackson, who's never been married, do you think he would have been a better singer had he gotten married early? You think Michael Jordan would have been a better basketball player had he stuck with his first wife? Like, you think he played bad when he got divorced? You think Like, you think he didn't win any championships when he got divorced? You think Shaq didn't win any because they have nothing to do with that level. When you're at that elite level, anything else is beneath you. That's in another world. You turn it off and get to your ass playing and becoming the best athlete you are. You don't even think about your device. Even when these guys' wives are giving birth and they're playing on the field, they don't even care what she's giving birth. They're playing on the field. They'll say after the game, great, my kid was born, loved it. I'm glad to win the game, and I'm off to the Super Bowl, and honey, I'll be there to see you soon. You think that kid took place of their talent? What are you talking about? Yeah. There's two separate worlds. You're great in my personal life, but not my professional.
Hey, Antoine, and that right there is what I was trying to tie the difference, right? Like I've never heard, like, even like prime example, Tom Brady was dealing with a divorce and a whole bunch of other stuff, and still took his team deep in the playoffs. You can't say you could never say he was playing bad because of that. But I've seen it when it doesn't go the same way. You remember when Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson were going to Mexico, and then they came back saying that the Cowboys was underperforming because of Jessica Simpson and all of the vacations to Mexico and stuff like that. So you think in that situation, when you're losing, they blame everything on the relationship. You know, like they haven't been right since they went to Mexico, you know? So
hey, when these guys are up on the stage accepting an award, what do they say, honey? I want to thank you for being there and the support.
Mary J. Blige.
Honey, thank you for making me the man that I am today. They don't even say that shit.
Well, listen to this though. Mary J. Blige fits the emotional barometer that Star is talking about. If you think about all of her music, right, it's all about her bad decision making.
Yep.
She got a song called Mr. Wrong.
There you go. Right?
So now when you look at all of the patterns and everything associated with her music to the outcomes, you're like, you're the problem. You're the problem.
Like look at Vivica A. Fox, that thing I saw on Facebook. That woman I used to have a crush on. Lord have mercy. When she was in when she was in Kill Bill, when she was dating 50, I'm like, God damn. I used to have a crush on her, right? She couldn't give me enough cleavage. Whew, let me tell you. Whew, that woman was hot, boy. And I still think she's a fine-looking woman today if she was with a man at her age, right? Besides all the stuff that she did now. But anyways, and I said to myself, how does a woman like that not get married? Like, that's sad. Now, you're a failure to me because I'm like, how bad are you that nobody wants you? Like Halle Berry, I'm like, you messing up with every guy. You met up with a felon. You met up with a guy that you met up with a guy that took your money. You couldn't find a good one? That's your problem.
Like wait until you in your 50s to pay child support is crazy.
Right? And now she's saying she's ready for marriage.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, that's what it looked like when you sell your soul, man. Like,
you're ready for marriage in your 50s or 60s?
When people say they pour their heart and soul into something, believe it.
I'm not saying he's ready for marriage in his 50s. It's not the same as a woman saying she's married for marriage in her 50s. That means she's been a failure her whole damn life. I'm sorry, you're a failure. You got no kids, no nothing, you're 50. I even look at a woman that's 35 with no kids, no relationship, and I'm looking at you as a failure. Hey. Like nobody wanted you. Like nobody. Like you met up with nobody in your entire life that did it for you. You went up until 35 geriatric pregnancy and not one guy tickled you enough to say, let's get married and have a good life.
Well, Antoine, how remember in this show you had already said that I had to be careful about how I was talking about women because when I started looking at it, you was like, wait a minute.
I wasn't going to be unrealistic.
Yeah. Now,
I didn't say it was nothing.
Everything you just said apply to you.
But I made that. I told you I made that choice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you,
listen. I can tell you, I had 3 the ones in my life.
But if you can explain it like the way you did, you know what I'm saying, and when you make it apply to yourself, the fact that you can break that down so finite, and like I appreciate the fact that you said that earlier in the show. You was like, I had to be careful about what I was saying. because you're really casting spells.
Dude, I'm just
exactly.
I can honestly say the reason
what
I'm
does
going
it mean when you start getting exactly what you are producing?
I'm getting, you know what? Like I said, so many good things are starting to happen my way, right? I took a hit last year with my finances because I invested into something, and I'm still trying to get it back. But I'm attracting better people in my life, right? Because, like I said, I cut off the social media of the ratchet shit, and I said that's not what I want to listen to because I started to judge people wrongly, and women especially. So when I turned that shit off, I became more clear in my head. It's like when you give up porn, they say you become in a heightened level. You do. When you sacrifice a certain sense, other senses improve, right? So I can say that for a fact.
So everything you just said right there is every reason why the right relationship enhance anything that you're doing. Because if you can see that you need to cut it out of your life, then and replace it with something positive, that's because the value of a positive thing that doesn't even have anything to do with your art has impact on you, not your talent. We're not talking about the talent.
Yeah.
The talent is just the fact that you can draw.
Right.
But what you produce is about the energy that you consume around you.
Right.
Because if you go through a bunch of bad situations, you might go in there, paint with, you know, say colors that reflect how you feel.
No.
Maybe not you. Maybe not you. I'm just saying, like,
I don't believe nothing external. It may hinder you because you're feeling some sort of way and pain, but your level of ability is still there once you get over that.
Ability is there. We're not talking about ability.
Okay, so I would say, like, when I say that it made me started to judge people differently, I would start to cross the street differently. I would start to move differently, right? I would start to act out differently, and it became to the point where I knew I was wrong, right? Like, if I look back at those 3 relationships that were the one, I know for a fact, and I know I made the mistake because I can honestly say I did. And I made yes, both of us, it takes 2, but I know I'm the one that made the mistake.
Did you make the mistake or did you make the sacrifice?
I made the sacrifice, and and the sacrifice, the mistakes that I made was I wasn't watering the grass enough. Right?
You was more invested in your work.
I was more invested in I was watering the wrong thing. I wasn't pouring here and pouring there. I was just pouring here and giving this whatever was left coming out after it was empty. Right? You can't, a plant can't grow that way. It's like a bonsai tree. I look at relationships as bonsai tree. They have to have enough sun. They die quick. You start to see yellow. You have to water it. You have to put it more towards. I mean, bonsai trees take a lot of caring, man. Right? And I've tried to maintain one. Anyways, that's another story. But I just want to say that now, listen, I'm saying it, and conceited or not conceited.
And you can throw in your Antoine secret to success in here too, because you know
I don't have a secret because I'm still working towards that goal. But I would tell you this: I am willing to make whatever sacrifice I need to make in order to get where I want to go. And and any girl that's along with me for that ride, I'm done. My cheating game is out. My fooling around with other women is out. I don't got nothing left. I'm out of game. I'm out. You get with me? I don't have anything left in me. I mean, you know what I mean? I am done. I played out.
Said he tapped. Hey,
I am tapped. I don't even got enough to share.
The numbers at the bottom of the screen is not the one that go to Antoine, though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can honestly say that, but I can
always say Antoine's number out loud is 855 Antoine. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
You know, but
what do you want to? Can you leave us with something before you get out of here? And you know, and we move forward. I'm gonna wrap the show up after you. So
yes.
What's up?
I could say this, okay, and I'm talking to all the.
I'm asking Star. Yeah, go ahead. I just mute Antoine.
Yeah. Well, you know, as far as the topic is concerned, as far as selling the soul, if you really want to make sure that you're content with your soul, know how to silence that ego. Know how to silence it. There's no right or wrong way to meditate. I don't give a damn if you're on the toilet. Have a moment to silence the ego, get right with the soul. Forgive yourself for any regret, because that war inside your head is hell. And if you made any decisions that whatever decision that you make, just be secure that you made the right decision. And going forward, stay disciplined, stay focused, and that's about it.
Man, look, it don't really take much. It don't really take much. I'm gonna also look, man. If you guys got something that you want to promote, bring it to the show. Because I got something to promote. I'm gonna promote my stuff while I'm up here. Somebody got to do it, and this is the latest. This is the latest that we got going on. You see that? See that hat I'm wearing? One right here and right here. Here's the website. This is you can
correct that picture. Now I'm gonna have to color correct that picture.
Hey, Vic,
Yes, sir.
Vic,
Yes.
hey, and another thing,
Go ahead.
get the cat off the bag, but there's so many changes coming, and for those who are your listeners and followers, is so much in store besides the merchandise. So I'm excited. Everybody's excited about it. Just wanted to leave with that.
Oh, look, I appreciate that. Like, it's been a lot of effort put into, to get to this point, and it should be talked about. Because also too, before we get out of here, I got to shout out State Farm. You know what I'm saying? Miss Leah McGee is the person that I would recommend people go check out. She has the brain of something that's got to be otherworldly when it comes down to breaking down what life insurance is about and how to set you up for financial success. So you see the number, go holler at Miss Leah McGee and tell them you saw it on Code Talk. So, all right, you guys, I have been very, very appreciative of joining another episode of Code Talk.
Is that a real question, Antoine? If you have,
what's up? Yeah, like that's we didn't even get to Consistency Fitness 365, aka now I'm not gonna reveal the other entity, but he said, yeah, if you have an argument with your wife, can you get back in the mindset to draw after?
Shit, I'll even draw better because I know she ain't gonna bother me. Shit, are you kidding me? That red light would stay on all night. Fuck that. I'll draw better.
You are out of line, man.
That is the truth. Are you kidding me right now? Listen, again, I don't understand why I have to keep saying this. A woman will have no impact on my heart.
Make sure you subscribe on all platforms and hit the like button and follow. Please leave your feedback in the comments. Make sure you hit up the super chat, leave a donation to support the platform. Your chick make you mad, my chick make me a sandwich. Your chick make you mad, my chick make me a sandwich. Go cop the shirt, visit the merch store, shop with Accountable Masculinity, and support the platform. Men have hope.